Hello viewers, here is a Lakewood P-223 box fan. This is an earlier model, the square stator. So I believe that makes this a late 70s product. The information's tag is removing itself from the motor for some reason. 2.4 amps there, and this one probably says 2.7 because for whatever reason it's not consistent. Yep, 2.7 amps. This is the brown finish. This is very similar, although not identical to that one at that vacation house. It's in very good condition. The paint, although it's very dusty, is pretty much like new once it gets cleaned up. And there's very little yellowing on the guards. So there's a story to this one. Kevin came down to visit me today. Or, well, it's not today by the time you're watching this, but whatever. Anyway, so he come down to visit, and we went to some of the thrift stores in the area. We made out really good at the Habitat store in terms of Christmas lights. They was actually doing like a dedicated Christmas lights sale, and they had some really nice stuff, and it was cheap too, dirt cheap. And so we went to that, went to a couple other stores, and since we was in the area, we also stopped at that store that I've talked about in the past that I don't have a good experience with, you know, high prices, lousy management, etc. And so when we got there, I says to him, I says, don't expect to buy anything here because the prices are just ludicrous. And as we was looking through the store, that was the case. You know, a lot of stuff was hundreds and hundreds of dollars. There was a swag light that I liked, $700. It's like, come on, really? So, you know, there was like a basic cheesy stand fan from 10 years ago. That was $39.95, and you know, all this stuff. So we're going through the store, and neither of us are picking nothing up because it's all too expensive. And then I see this, and I had to have it. There was no price on it, so I bring it up to the register, and I'm expecting the price to be like $80-something, which I was not going to spend. But the guy looks at it and says, oh, there's no price, let me look it up. I says, okay. And you go on the computer. I said, oh, great. He must be going to like eBay or something to see what the price of these things is going for. And he's looking at stuff on the computer for, it seems like, for quite a while. Then he come back and says $5.95. I couldn't believe it. That's even cheaper than it would have been at like the Goodwill or something. So somehow, for only $5.95, we have this van. It's a great example. It's a color and variant I don't have. It's not the exact model that was at the vacation house. I'm still looking to find one of those, but this very much reminds me of that fan, and it looks very similar. So it was a good find, and I just can't believe how cheap it was. Shocking, really. I was in complete disbelief. The fan partially made a fool out of me, but I don't care. It's a great find, great price. So, let's go ahead and turn this thing on. I did check it in the store just to make sure it worked. But, right now we're getting 120 volts on the nose, depending on what kilowatt meter I look at. We'll just take this one out of the picture so it's easier. 120.0 the volts. So let's go over to the amps. And just a quick preview of something else that's to come. Take a look at that in the next couple of days. Alright, let's go ahead and turn this thing on. We'll start it up on low. Or the low. Nice startup sound. The heck? Looks like there's something wrong with the blades. Like the thing is off center or something. That's kind of weird. That's unusual. These are typically pretty well balanced. Huh. That's odd. Is it really out of balance? Doesn't appear to be. That's certainly peculiar. But it seems to run pretty good. Nice slow low. Moves plenty of air. I'm going to go all the way across the room here. I can still feel the air moving. And it's really quite quiet. Power is 1.23 amps, 97 the watts with a power factor of 0.66, which is kind of low. These are such great fans. I can't fathom that these were the garbage of the day. That's just crazy. It's definitely got some hours on it, but nothing too crazy. There's not absolutely obnoxious amounts of dust in there like there sometimes is. The medium. It's got some good startup sounds to this one. Very powerful. Power information, 1.85 the amps, 155 the watts, the power factor 0.71. The power factor is going up. Okay, time for the high. These have such a great range and speeds. Nice, quiet, low, medium, middle bass, medium, and a strong high. Just blew a bunch of stuff off the table. This is very powerful. Power information 2.28 amps, 195 watts, and power factor 0.72. So it certainly does draw a lot of power, but it still works after all these years. and it does so very well. And despite the blade looking like it's completely off clock, it doesn't really shake that much at all. It's pretty much in balance, which is kind of weird because it sure looks awful, but it seems to be fine. And after all these years of probably never being oiled, the bearings are still free. Oh, I see what the problem is now. It looks like part of it was just not cut out, and it's not actually out of balance at all. Yeah, I see. Because if you look at the texture of the blade, that's in line. So it's just a weird, didn't get cut out all the way kind of deal. So the blade, there is nothing wrong with the blade. The blade is fine. Okay, so that's going to be it for this video. I'll grab the startup sounds right quick. Starting on low. Medium. I'll shut it off to go to high. This was such a great find and it's such a great price. I can't believe this was as cheap as it was, especially considering where it come from. Usually when these get into the antique store, the people there know that these are worth something. Wow, the amount of air you can just feel rushing into this fan. Very high volume air movements. Definitely don't get that kind of performance out of a Lakewood 3733.